the gloom.
Run!
The super colony's deadly ordered brother.
Can't liberate with this broken arm!
Cave so dark, the only light you see is the bile coming directly towards you.
I need stems! Reloading!
Monsters so big and durable, hell bombs aren't enough to end them.
I'm hit! Sweet liberty! The blood!
Environment that no human was ever meant to step on.
For the love of liberty, my legs!
Yet we'll free this world.
Get some!
We'll always do.
You are the tinder, and liberty is the match! For Super Earth!
This game has been on a roll lately. In the past 3 months, we've gotten new Illuminate enemies, the defense of Super Earth, mega cities for all factions, a new enemy for the automatons, an ODST warbond, Xbox launch, and now into the Unjust. However, if you check Reddit, it would seem like the roll had ended. The reviews are going down and everyone's complaining. Why would this be? Could it be because of the update or some external factor? Let's find out by reviewing all of the things added with the update, as well as anything external that could result in this negative light. Let's rip the band-aid off right away. The main reason for all this negativity is the performance. Everyone is claiming that the update ruined performance. FPS drops to single digits. Constant freezing. Crashing every damn mission. The performance is actually fine. I mean, I am definitely in the minority here, but I've had very little freezing, 0 FPS drops, and 1 crash when I changed tabs while the game was opening. My friend did crash twice, to be fair, but still it doesn't happen often enough to really be a problem. Could it exist and I'm just lucky I don't experience the poor performance? Yes, but I still think that most of the fucking horror stories I read are just exaggerations. I'll talk about the bugs towards the end of the video. However, now I want to talk about the actual meat and bones of the update. Speaking of bones, the new map sure has a lot of them. Visually speaking, the hive worlds are in their own undemocratic way beautiful. The large structures cut out by the fog in the sky is an amazing visual, and so are the bones scattered around. It makes you feel like the planet itself is rotten. From a gameplay standpoint, it's also very fun. It's a very clear map and has great visibility, surprisingly enough. We also have to factor in the new cave system. They're a great addition. While I do prefer fighting in the outdoors as I rely on my stratagems a lot, the caves are an awesome addition. The sense of claustrophobia they provide is unlike anything else this game has to offer. As the title says, it turns the game from a shooter into a horror game. They aren't perfect, the lack of stratagems really helps them, and I still think that cities are a lot more fun, but they're still definitely fun, and really hard. And now on to the residents of the caves, the Rapture strain. Starting off with the smallest unit, the Rapture Warrior, the second and a lot more justifiable reason for the complaining on Reddit. They dig into the ground, burying through it to jump Helldivers when they reach them. There are 2 main issues with them. 1. They have medium pen heads and legs, making them a lot harder to kill than the regular warriors. This isn't really that big of a deal in my opinion, because their tails are completely unarmored, making them extremely easy to kill from a distance where they're digging down, and even in close range scenarios sometimes, since they have far less base HP than a basic warrior. If this was the only problem, they'd be like hunters, annoying sure, but we could adapt. However, the second thing is a far sillier and worse problem. The warriors' attack patterns, especially when they come out of the ground, are different if you're the host or not, being far harder to dodge if you are the host, almost always getting damaged. Me personally, I play solo, and if I don't, I'm the host. And while yes, they are dodgeable, it certainly isn't easy to dodge. I don't personally have a problem with it, however I can see why people complain. The next Rapture enemy is the Rapture Spewer, unironically my favorite enemy in this sub-faction. Fighting them feels like you're playing Whack-A-Need, and I personally love their bile mortar attack. It's easily telegraphed, not too punishing if you get hit by it, but still does a decent bit of damage. It also gets rid of the worst part of the basic bile spears in my opinion, their mortar attack, when they reenact planetary bombardment and ragdoll you to no end, which is especially bad on the bug front, because being prone in general on the ground is a death sentence. I also like that they have considerably less HP than their non-Rapture counterpart, making Whack-A-Need feel balanced, because at least most of the time you can kill them before they go back into the ground for a second or third time. The only problem I have with this enemy is that if there are too many of them, you can't see at all. However, this applies to most enemies in the game, so it isn't really a problem, I guess. It's just more prevalent with this enemy in particular, since the bile mortars make big gooey booms. The final thing is the Rupture Charger. Not too much to say here, it's just a basic charger that can go underground. The screen shakes a lot when it comes out of the ground. Not really a complaint since I find it cool, just an observation. The only complaint that I have is that it goes back into the ground as soon as its charge finishes, making it difficult to hit. But that's the point of the sub-faction. You're meant to use the time they are above ground in order to liberate them before they go back underground. I'd like to give one final tip while fighting these enemies. Any explosion capable of destroying a bug hole, so grenades, eruptor, etc., forces them out of the ground. So if you see a cartoonishly big bubble of sand moving towards you, throw a grenade on it before it comes to you, and makes you permanently free of thought. Now for the biggest enemy in the new update, the Dragon Roach, or as I call it, the Bile Dragon. It's a Leviathan level enemy, except a little more deadly. While still being easier to kill than a Leviathan, it's not as easy to kill because its main weak spot, its head, is very hard to hit for obvious reasons. And its wizard body have a ton of HP. However, this thing has one simple solution. The Spear, a anti-tank weapon that can trace onto enemies. It makes sense how it would kill the dragon super easily. The only problem with these enemies is its spawn rate, especially its spawn rate after you kill them. They feel like a Hydra. You kill one, two pop up. They get really annoying to kill after a certain point due to their high number. And I also feel like you encounter them far less often when you just ignore them instead of killing them, which feels wrong. However, the enemy itself is designed in a great way, so that it feels difficult but satisfying to kill, and provides a new level of challenge to the game. So that was all of the enemies in this update. Possibly the biggest addition in this update is by far the Hive Lord. Not in it of itself, sure it's a cool enemy, an amazing achievement if you kill it, and a very cool memory when you encounter it for the first time. I mean, the democracy officer himself tells you you're fucked. No, what it adds is bosses, an addition that I wanted in the game since I first killed the Bile Titan. This is just the beginning. They could add the Great Eye, they could add the Siege Mech, they could add new bosses we've never seen before, all because of this one addition. As for the Lord itself, it's an amazing addition. When it first appears, the democracy officer himself tells you you're fucked, which is hype in it of itself. The only problem is that it plays it in the first mission that you encounter a Hive Lord. After that, it doesn't say the voice line, which sucks in my opinion. The Hive Lord itself has 150,000 HP and is covered in AP5 armor. However, Arrowhead, never missing an opportunity to make an enemy not be a bullet sponge, made the mouth in their flesh of the Lord AP2. The mouth, although hard to hit, is an explainable weak spot. The inner flesh is accessed by destroying one of the spine pieces, which are AP5 and have 15 to 20,000 HP. So yeah, not the easiest thing to kill. With all of that, how easily can it kill you? Okay. Well, pretty goddamn easily. It has 2.5 attacks. The 0.5 comes from the rocks it throws at the Helldivers once it comes out of the ground. Yes, it comes out of the ground at such strength that it throws rocks everywhere once it emerges. The Lord also has a bile attack, completely melting any Helldiver that comes in contact with the bile, faster than they can say, "I need stems!" The other attack is a slam attack. Whereas the name itself implies, it slams on the ground, destroying everything it hits, and in the off chance that the attack doesn't kill you, it sends you flying. The Lord can also go underground to maneuver around the map. While it does that, if it moves under you, a shockwave sends you flying. I think that I could use one more attack since it's a boss, maybe where it spins around firing bile everywhere, or one where it rolls on the ground like a cat, but it's still a very good enemy. My only problem with all these new additions in this update, yes, every single one, is that we don't know if they're permanent. The new Rupture enemies are confirmed to be a sub-faction, so it already isn't great that 3 of these enemies in this update are a sub-faction. I'd also like to add that because Reddit fucking sucks at the game and can't learn to maneuver around these things, seriously, they're not the easiest thing to dodge, but you can dodge them. they got removed, and the worst part, they got replaced with a fucking Predator strain. Fuck the Predator strain! However, the permanence of the Dragon Roads and the Hive Lord is also questionable. In the game files they share the same initial code, GM, which I'm pretty sure is for all sub-factions. In the companion app we also see this symbol. This symbol symbolizes either Hive Lords or Dragon Roads, depending on what you are going to see in the mission. This really sucks, because I love all of these additions. I want them to be permanent additions to the game. I have some semblance of hope for these things. I feel like the dragons will become a mission modified along the lines of a Leviathan, and Hive Lords will become their own standalone mission on Div 7 and above. But still, I'd like some confirmation on how permanent these additions are. This also applies to Hive Worlds, however I'm pretty sure that the affected planets will remain like Hive Worlds for the rest of the Galactic War. Still, I'd like for them to be like cities, where there are certain regions or terminate controlled planets where there are caves and stuff like that. Regarding Hive Worlds again, I'd like to talk about their missions, specifically the two new ones. Destroy Sporlang could honestly be its own video. It's an amazing mission, packed to the brim with fun but difficult objectives. Combining what is essentially 3 missions together and adding an original objective is very creative and results in a very fun mission. The Gator is also really fun. While it is kinda repetitive, it's still very fun. The Gator itself is an absolute powerhouse, the autocannon being able to liberate dragons with a couple dozen shots and staggering them into oblivion. He has a ton of HP, but not enough to make the mission a breeze. It's a very balanced mission and I think it's fun. The rest of the missions are very fun, despite not being as original. Shout out to Extractive E711, which is again 2 different missions combined to one mission, with a twist being that the mission is underground. While I really dislike flag missions, they are somewhat fun with teammates, so I'll allow them. Nuke Nursery, Conduct Geological Survey and Blitz are just their basic version, with Nuke Nursery having the twist of being underground, which I find cool. Restart Pumps is a pathetically easy mission. I don't really mind it though, since every other mission is insanely hard, so just having one mission be easy isn't a problem. I again think that most of these missions will be lost when the Gloom is defeated, which yeah, it sucks, especially about Sporlang, which will definitely be lost. I do think that some of these missions will be transferred into basic planets, like Gator. However, we'll see what happens once the Gloom is liberated. The music in the Hive Worlds is amazing. It provides a horror experience, making you feel like you weren't meant to be on these planets. It takes parts from the basic Terminate theme, but remixes them to make it far scarier. I don't know how to talk about music, because it's kinda out of my territory. However, I'd like to say that I love the music, and can't wait for it to come to Spotify. I'm gonna end this video on a bit of a sour note, unfortunately. The bugs in this game are horrible. Well, I mean, yes, the Terminids are evil tyrants, but that's not what I mean. The bugs and glitches are awful, especially, and I mean especially the Nuke Nursery mission. That mission has always had a game-breaking bug associated with it. Whether it's the drill going underground or getting stuck on a mine, I feel like I failed that mission more times because of a glitch than I failed it because it's a difficult mission. That isn't the only glitch, however. If you team reload your friend's weapon, the weapon no longer fires. The fuck kind of glitch is that? There are many other glitches that I've mentioned in this video. Hell, I've made a whole other video about the bugs in this game. It's a pretty old and the main one, No More Friend, is fixed, but still, this game has had so many glitches in its lifetime, some being since the start of the game's lifetime. I think saying it's unacceptable is a little unfair, since the game's engine is held together by hopes and dreams, but still, I think something needs to be done, like getting the people who originally made the engine to see if they can fix it. I don't know if that's possible, but something needs to be done. Overall, this update is amazing, but it gets dragged down by performance issues, glitches and the lack of knowledge about the permanence of the stuff in the update. Whether the update is good depended on your experience in regards to glitches and performance, which pains me to say because since I haven't had many glitches and performance issues, this game has been an absolutely amazing experience for me. The enemies have been fun, the new environment is horrifyingly entertaining, and the story implications have expanded the lore in so many interesting ways. E711 is a fucking hilarious name, but the more powerful E710 has amazing story potential, and it being able to turn into synthetic dark fluid is horrifying considering what happened the last time our Great Federation messed with dark fluid. This revelation leaves me excited for the future of the Galactic War, 4 or 5 years down the line. However, I don't know if the game will be in a playable state by that point due to the bugs and performance. So to end it off, I'd like to say it's an amazing update that's slowly killing the game. Well, now that we've gone over that sour note, this is the end of this week's video. For next week I have a poll for what the next video should be. The 4 options will be A, which is the best update in Helldivers 2 has had, B, which is the best faction in Helldivers 2 from a gameplay perspective, C, how Arrowhead can perfect the Illuminate front, and D, a new loadout that I've been using, which I have found very fun against the automatons. We'll see what you guys vote on my community tab. And of course, final thing before you leave, drink water, eat an apple, talk to your family and subscribe so I can see you in the next one.